do number 3 now. Number 3 is the one that I just kind of ran across yesterday. Well, I didn't really run across it. It's another old school redone a little bit. This is that one. Do you remember years ago when everyone was buying that Citrosolve cleaner and putting it on National Geographic images to make them all, well, like this? I never really did get on board with that. I don't know why, because it's right up my alley, but I never tried it. And I ran across something on the internet the other day that I guess someone had maybe used it or mentioned it or brought it back up, and I started thinking, I wonder why I never tried that. So I went online. You can buy Citrosolve online from Amazon or from their website, and I don't know if you might be able to get it at like Home Depot or something. I'm really not sure. But it's like $10, and it's a cleaner. It's a regular household degreaser cleaner that's supposed to be amazing. But you can also do a lot of image manipulation with it. You can transfer images with it. Some art supply stores carry it. Cheap Joe's, I know, carries it, called Citrosolve, and someplace else. I forget. Maybe Jerry's Artorama. I don't know. Anyway, you can get it. It's easy to get. I don't have it. I didn't want to pay the $10 to get it because, you know, like $10 for a cleaner that I'm going to just do art stuff with. I just was thinking maybe there's something else I can use. Well, there is. I happen to use this degreaser that I absolutely love, and it's called LA's Totally Awesome All-Purpose Concentrated Cleaner Degreaser Spot Remover. You get this at the Dollar Tree, okay? It's $1. Actually, I've gotten it also at the 99-cent store too, where it was 99 cents, which makes you think you're really kind of getting screwed at the dollar store. But it's called Totally Awesome, and actually I think at the 99-cent store it was called something else. It might have been called like Awesome Orange, and theirs was a clear, where this one's kind of urine sample colored, but it's the same stuff. It's just a good degreaser. I don't know if other degreasers will work. I have a feeling they will. But this is just what I had at home, what I already use and love for regular cleaning. It is an excellent cleaner, by the way, and for $1 you just can't beat it. But that's also what I used to do this. Now this was a National Geographic picture. That's kind of the one thing, both of these were. You need really, really glossy magazine pictures. And of course National Geographic has some of the best, because you know, their pictures, of course, are just really awesome, but the paper is really good too. It's that heavy, high gloss paper. So you're going to need some of those, and then you're going to need to, you know, drop that $1, or if you're a smart shopper, you'll go to the 99-cent store and drop the 99 cents for the awesome degreaser, or you could, you know, try what you have at home. I bet that, you know, that greased lightning, you can get that at the dollar stores too. I bet that would work. And here is how it goes. It's a little bit like the photograph one. You get more varied color with the degreaser, but it's hit or miss. Sometimes it turns out really great, and then sometimes not so great. Let me show you what I mean before I actually do one. Okay, here was the beginning picture, and there it is after it was done. And all I did, I sprayed it with the degreaser, and with this one I wadded it up and then kind of messed with it, and then wiped it off with a paper towel and let it dry. That's all there is to it. Some stuff turns out better than others. This one, which I had a feeling was not going to be anything spectacular, and it wasn't. You get a lot of green with this, no matter what your dark backgrounds, especially like brown, black, and gray, they pull green a lot. I don't need a ton of green backgrounds, but I do need texture. So even if I don't like the color, I will use this like on the bottom layer of a collage and paint over it because it's got some great texture. So that's what you get with that one. This one I sprayed kind of lightly, and then I just took my finger, you know, once the ink, the color started to lift and move, I just kind of swirled around and played in it, then dried it with my heat gun. So there's what you get there. And this one I really thought would turn out better, but it didn't. It was all kind of green and yellow, which is nice if you want green and yellow, but you know, like I said, I don't need a ton of green and yellow, so I may end up painting over that, but still, it's pretty. This one actually came out a lot better than I thought. I thought, ugh, it's going to be another green and yellow one. Well, it kind of was, but it's got this kind of aqua, turquoisey thing going on in the middle. And I didn't mess too much with it. I just kind of sprayed it, kind of moved the stuff around while it was still runny, and then just left it alone. And that's my biggest problem, is I won't leave these alone. You know, I spray it and then I want it to instantly do something awesome, so I start messing with it and usually end up screwing it up. Well, that one turned out like that. Kind of neat. This one, another one I just sprayed real lightly and then kind of messed with it. I really like that. It's got a lot of kind of a muted aqua in it. I don't know if you can tell. And we have more yellow. This one, I don't know what happened. I really thought that this one would just be amazing. It so wasn't. It really didn't do anything. I kept spraying and respraying and crumpling and messing, and it wasn't doing anything. And it was National Geographic, you know, and I couldn't figure out why. Finally, I took a paper towel and just started wiping some of the ink off, but that one was kind of a disappointment. This one, another typical yellow, and this one actually I like a lot. It's got a lot of the, it kept a lot of the brown, and you know, it has a lot of yellow and brown, but then just the little pieces of green or kind of turquoise in there. I like that one a whole lot. But I mean, none of them turned out as good as the first one I did, naturally. So there's what you have. Now, to do it, I usually use a paper sack because I'm going to get crud all over it. And let's do a couple. We'll do that one, and I bet that one's just going to turn green. We'll find one that maybe... Let's try these two. I'm going to take my awesome degreaser, spray generously. Now you're going to need to leave it alone for at least 5 minutes and maybe more. Sometimes you can, ooh, and it has fumes. It is a cleaner. So do this in a well-ventilated area, or don't just, you know, suck in the fumes like I just did. Sometimes you can see it start to work almost immediately, and then sometimes you have to wait a while. You see kind of the red starting to come out. Yeah, it's doing its thing. It's just going to take a few minutes. So I'm going to set it over here where I don't see it, so maybe I won't touch it. And I'll show you some other experiments I did. I don't subscribe to National Geographic, so it's not coming into the house all the time. I don't have a constant inflow of new, awesome, glossy pictures. I'm not really all about going out and buying them. So I started looking around the house for other stuff to try this on that maybe I could use as well. And I thought about all of those heavy, glossy postcard advertisement things that you get in the mail all the time. And I had this one from Dodge, and it came with, it had all of these little ads inside it. So I took a few of these and started messing with them, and it failed in a big way. This one I sprayed, I kind of crumpled. It really did nothing except get gross. Didn't work. Tried another one. had better luck with this one. I don't know if it was just from the image or what. Oh, I did this one. I thought, well, I'll just run it under water first. You know, get it wet to begin with to kind of break the surface tension so that maybe it would take the degreaser better. I don't know what that means to break the surface tension, but I hear it all the time, so I'm going to use it as if I really understand what that means. But as you can see, I think this is actually very cool, but it really didn't do what I thought it was going to do. And I will use this. I probably won't use that red part right there, but this I think is really kind of neat looking. But it wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting, you know, the mottled color thing and didn't get it. Same thing here. This I actually think turned out really awesome. I did not crumple this one. Only difference between that and this, I didn't crumple it up. I wet it, I sprayed it, took a paper towel and kind of started distressing it, and I will actually use this here because I think it's a really cool distress look thing going on. So again, not what I was expecting, but I like it. It's usable. So tried that one. Then I thought, well, let me see if I can find maybe a different kind of postcard. Maybe it just didn't like Dodge. Maybe that's it. So I had this big thick postcard right here. It was an Avon advertisement. It had like a sample of wrinkle cream or something on it, which of course I used. So wet it, sprayed it. Nothing was happening. It started to peel because, you know, it was really thick. So I thought, well, maybe it's too thick. That's the problem. It's not saturating enough. So I separated it, thinking that maybe that would help. It didn't so much. So the postcard was a dark blue to begin with, and now it's kind of a mottled light blue. I actually like this, and I will use this, but it was a lot more trouble and time than it was worth. You know, it was just a lot of effort for, you know, something that is just not really that impressive. So I think it's safe to say that the heavy glossy postcards you get in the mail are not going to work for this. You really need the National Geographics or regular magazines. Here's Lowe's website. It's called Lowe's Creative Ideas, and you can subscribe to it, and it's free. And they send it to your house. I think it's every quarter. I'm sorry, I have to get a drink of water because I can taste awesome in my mouth, and it's gross. Okay. So, this is a good way to get some free collage fodder sent to your door every day. I took this magazine, I sprayed the awesome degreaser on pretty much all the pages, just, you know, in between every page. These I didn't spray. They've got some soaking from the others that I did. But sprayed them down, left it sit. The colors started bleeding, really kind of cool looking, but the images were not distorting. And without the images distorting, I really felt like I wouldn't get much use out of them because, you know, it's a pretty pink and purple vacuum cleaner, but it's still a vacuum cleaner. What am I going to do with that? You know, I'm limited. So what I did was I went back through. The pages were still wet because they were soaked with the degreaser, and I crumpled them kind of like this, just wadded them up, just like that. And I did this just in the hopes that it would help to distort some of the images so that I would be able to get more use out of the sheets. And it really worked fairly well. You can see, I think this had some paint cans on it, but the bleeding color from this page and from the other pages is just beautiful. It's just, I love that. And this part of this image is distorted enough that I could use it, you know, and it's not going to jump out and say, okay, I'm an advertisement with paint cans on it from Lowe's, you know. So some of them did better than others, but this to me was worth the effort because it really didn't take a whole lot of effort. You know, I sprayed it, I scrunched it, and then you let it dry. Or Excuse me. Actually, I dried mine in the oven, which you can do if you do it carefully. I did it carefully this time. Normally, there's fire, but it worked well this time. But I love how the everything is very soft and muted. Even on the pages that still, look like a magazine page, you don't see a magazine page with this kind of color and texture. So you can get away with using this because it doesn't really look that much like what it really is. A lot of the times when you use magazine pages in a collage or in a mixed media piece, it jumps out as, oh, I'm a magazine page, because it's just got that look, that glossy colored look. But this not so much. See, I don't even know what the, homemade soaps is what that is. I can't really tell because of the way it was distressed. So, that is going to be an excellent piece to use. There's a vacuum cleaner. It's still looking kind of like a vacuum cleaner, but I could use that. That's not going to give it away. So you can see some of these came out really great, some not so much, but still, it's cool. It's different. This is not a look that you're going to see on every single mixed media art journal on the internet, because that's kind of where I'm at right now. They're all starting to look the same, including my own, and I don't like that. So this is going to give it a different look. These, while they were wet, I kind of rubbed on them, which you have to be careful because, wet paper, you're going to rub right through it. But that kind of helped to hide some of the detail. This, there's sections of this I can use really easily. I could probably actually use that whole page and just collage little pieces over the areas that I don't want to show. These as well. I just think it's gorgeous. You just don't see that kind of muted, hazy look much. And then we're back to the pages that I didn't treat. I think that was it. And some of them fell out because the book started to fall apart when it was wet. And this one I just crumpled the heck out of it. As you can see that it's nice and textury. This one I love. I'll definitely use that on something. Because I don't know, may have too much glare for you to see the soft, pretty pinks and yellows. And then this one I thought turned out good. I don't think I would have the water hose there, but that's a cute mom and daughter. But then the back, oh, I love the back. It's got some flowers or something. So I got options there. This one, it was actually an ad I pulled out of a different magazine and sprayed it and then just started rubbing it until it, actually it started to fall apart, and then it was sticking to the page underneath it, so I just let it stick. But that's pretty. I like that. Oh, that was another part of the book that didn't get a lot of color on it. Okay, I might have baked that one a little too long in the oven. But, it's that burnt paper edge. That's fashionable, right? Yeah, I think so. This, gorgeous. I'll definitely use that. And these as well are good. Now this, I want to show you. Okay, hang on. This, you can transfer images as well. Citrusolve is real big on that. You can transfer with Citrusolve. They love, advertising that. And so I tried it with the Awesome. I didn't put forth too much effort. This is the image I used. Wet everything down. Put this here, burnished it, took it off, and it did lightly transfer. And I'm pretty sure that if I had given it more effort, that it, I could have gotten a pretty good transfer out of it. The thing is, there's 150 different ways to transfer an image. And I wasn't real interested in trying to perfect number 151. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. You can use it to transfer an image along with tons of other stuff, but there you go. It's possible. Now let's go back to our pieces that we sprayed, see what we can do with them. My area is obviously not well ventilated enough because I'm breathing this stuff in and it's not pleasant. Now, I'm just going to mess with this a little and see. Oh, yeah. Okay. This is actually starting to do some cool things. See it right here? Starting to get that kind of mottled up look. And sometimes I try to help it. The paper towel can either make it really cool or ruin it, because it will pull up any loose ink, and sometimes it pulls up way too much. I really like this right here. It fascinates me how this works, because I don't know how it works. I mean, I know it's removing the ink, but it just seems, I don't know, again, magical. And you can, you know, use texture tools or whatever in here too to get some different looks. Okay, I'm liking that a lot. Except right here, I don't want such a defined edge around those, whatever they were, icebergs. Yeah, I think maybe they were icebergs. You can use a brush. I used a brush on some of them. Little paintbrush or toothbrush or whatever. But it just seems like I've always got my hands in it. I like that. Okay. This you don't have to dip in water. You can just dry it. That's good enough. Okay. It's still got some little damp spots, but for the most part, it's done, and I like it. That's a keeper. Now this one, let's see what we can do. It's got some of that pink stuff happening at the top. Okay, now let's see what that does. Okay, I like that a lot too. I think I want to do one or two more. Let's do one. Where's that piece? There it is. These are pieces of the same image. And spray. I'll leave one alone and then I'll mess with one. Let's just see what happens. You have to be willing to accept torn paper with something like this, because it is going to happen and you're just going to have to deal with it. I like that. Let me do that to this one. And your hands are going to end up looking really gross at the end of it, but this stuff washes off really easily. And if you have trouble with it, you can always use your awesome degreaser. They should hire me. Okay. It's that same green and yellow again, but it's got this really nice turquoisey teal thing going on that I like a lot. I like it a lot. So let's try that. And there we go. Get rid of that wet thing. Now, check out your awesome background papers that you can make with just some household degreaser and glossy magazine pages.